Alright, Jake, I'm filming.
So guys, I'm in the hospital. I had an accident, broke my back.
I get my brain scanned at the hospital to see what's going on. Tell me how.
Oh yeah, bro, I got a new big hole right there.
Bro, I got a big hole in my brain, bro.
Oh my, big ass hole right here.
I told you I feel stupid.
The boxing world was rocked when Jake Paul announced he had called off his eagerly anticipated and contentious fight with Mike Tyson. This stunning development came just days after a video surfaced online, causing waves in the combat sports community. The video featured a supposed sparring session between Paul and Tyson, which quickly escalated. Tyson, despite his age, unleashed a series of punishing blows on Paul, who appeared visibly overwhelmed and unable to mount any defense. By the end of the video, Paul was slumped against the ropes, his expression a mix of frustration and embarrassment. The incident immediately ignited speculation. Was this an elaborate publicity stunt meant to fuel hype for the fight? Or was it a brutal demonstration of Tyson's unrestrained power, delivering a stark reality check to Paul? Social media erupted with theories, yet Paul responded with a scathing post of his own, adding fuel to the fire. He addressed the situation head-on, stating that what viewers saw was not a sparring session, but rather an unprovoked assault. According to Paul, Tyson had come in with a clear agenda: not to train, but to inflict maximum pain. Paul expressed deep disappointment and frustration in his statement, claiming, "I've poured everything into this sport. I've trained relentlessly and pushed my body to its limits. But after what happened, I can't, in good conscience, step into the ring with someone who so blatantly disregards their opponent's safety." This bold move was met with mixed reactions across the boxing community. Some commended Paul for prioritizing his health and safety over a lucrative payout, while others questioned if there was more to the story. Beyond the drama surrounding the canceled bout, the event also raised ethical questions about exhibition matches. Especially contentious were concerns about older fighters like Tyson, who, while still powerful, may not be in peak condition to safely spar against much younger opponents. Many wondered if the original fight arrangement had properly considered these risks, or if this incident would prompt new guidelines for future exhibition bouts. In a surprising twist, Paul's team took things a step further by filing a $200 million lawsuit against Tyson. The lawsuit accused Tyson of abusive and reckless behavior during the sparring session, claiming he acted with intent to cause significant bodily harm rather than training in a controlled environment. Paul's legal team argued that Tyson's actions were deliberate and
Day 3. You still want to f with me?
Well, then what's going on with you guys? Because the last episode on here, there was shit talk back and forth. He was saying stuff about you on Twitter. You called him. There was more shit talk. Have you guys talked anymore? Is that actually a fight that could happen?
I think it could happen as like an exhibition, probably.
Just because you couldn't.
But I think he thinks that he would win, and I would love to just like deflate his little 130 pounds.
That's the only way it could happen, right? His exhibition, just for the weight.
Yeah, and his footwork sucks. Like once I'm learning more about the sport, it's like he's fast and quick and been doing it his whole life, obviously. But his feet are terrible for him. He got flat-footed, stuck.
Following a wave of backlash and a costly lawsuit over his intense sparring session with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson has broken his silence. In a video posted to his social media channels, an enraged Tyson addressed the controversy head-on. This was not a ballet lesson. He began with a fierce glare. It was boxing instruction, and you have to respect the sport. Tyson went on to recount his version of events, explaining that Paul's attitude in the gym was dismissive and disrespectful. This guy comes in, full of himself, talking nonsense and disrespecting legends, Tyson said. He thinks boxing is some YouTube stunt, but it's not. According to Tyson, Paul's constant joking and mocking demeanor toward him and his team quickly wore thin. Tyson claimed that Paul even imitated his movements and called him names, which escalated the tension. I told him to cut it out and keep it controlled, but he kept pushing. Describing the session, Tyson insisted it had started light. We began gently, but then he got cocky, throwing wild punches with no technique. At that point, Tyson decided it was time to show him what happens when you fool around in the ring. The video then transitions into a dramatic montage of Tyson's greatest knockouts, featuring lightning-fast combinations and ferocious finishes. A clear message to Paul. Tyson's tone intensified as he declared, "Maybe a taste of reality will set him straight. Boxing isn't a game. It's about discipline, respect, and the will to win. If you don't have those things, stay out of the ring." The video sparked mixed reactions from the public. Some praised Tyson for standing up for boxing's values, applauding him for teaching the young internet star a lesson in humility. Others, however, saw his response as a thinly veiled justification for a brutal beatdown, accusing
Talking a lot of shit and then you quit, that's what's fucked. If you weren't talking shit before the fight saying you're gonna KO him in 2 rounds and all this shit,
following
then
a
it's
wave of
different. Like,
backlash.
that's why I think there's like a loss of respect there.
The best boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul,
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
In a video posted to his social media channels, an enraged Tyson addressed the controversy head-on. This was not a ballet lesson. He began with a fierce glare. It was boxing instruction, and you have to respect the sport. Tyson went on to recount his version of events, explaining that Paul's attitude in the gym was dismissive and disrespectful. "This guy comes in, full of himself, talking nonsense and disrespecting legends," Tyson said. He thinks boxing is some YouTube stunt, but it's not. According to Tyson, Paul's constant joking and mocking demeanor toward him and his team quickly wore thin. Tyson claimed that Paul even imitated his movements and called him names, which escalated the tension. I told him to cut it out and keep it controlled, but he kept pushing. Describing the session, Tyson insisted it had started light. We began gently, but then he got cocky, throwing wild punches with no technique. At that point, Tyson decided it was time to show him what happens when you fool around in the ring. The video then transitions into a dramatic montage of Tyson's greatest knockouts, featuring lightning-fast combinations and ferocious finishes. A clear message to Paul. Tyson's tone intensified as he declared, "Maybe a taste of reality will set him straight. Boxing isn't a game. It's about discipline, respect, and the will to win. If you don't have those things, stay out of the ring." The video sparked mixed reactions from the public. Some praised Tyson for standing up for boxing's values, applauding him for teaching the young internet star a lesson in humility.
Mistake that he made, but I mean, he's an idiot, and so
You're
is
not getting shit.
so yeah, literally like the next offer for him is like nothing basically, and like my brand only increases to like a whole nother level, and it's like we probably would have been 50-50 for that fight, and now it's like after this and everything. So
I feel like
there's just all these crazy things, and it's just bad, and people are in this business just looking to make money over anything really. Be patient, take it fight by fight, and that moment will come for sure.
As his public feud with Mike Tyson intensified, Jake Paul announced an update to his $200 million lawsuit, which now highlights violence as the primary basis for seeking damages. In a press conference streamed live on his channel, Paul raised the stakes, speaking with a tone that was both firm and self-righteous. "This is about sending a message to anyone who thinks boxing is a free-for-all. There are rules, there's respect, and they exist for a reason, Paul stated. He elaborated on his perspective of Tyson's behavior, saying, Mike Tyson showed an inability to control his aggression. He wasn't there to train. He was there to unleash his wrath, and I ended up being his unfortunate target. The revised lawsuit includes additional details from the sparring session, as well as witness statements supporting Paul's claims that Tyson used excessive force and disregarded safety regulations. Paul's legal team is also considering presenting medical documents to demonstrate the physical and mental toll the incident took on him. Some critics have dismissed the lawsuit as a publicity stunt, and Paul addressed them directly. I know some people think I'm doing this for attention, he admitted, but there's nothing glamorous about being brutalized in a boxing ring. Suing a legend isn't something I take lightly. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. By focusing on the violence of the encounter, Paul sought to redirect the narrative away from accusations of clowning around or disrespecting the sport. His goal was clear: to portray himself as the victim of uncontrollable aggression. This approach, however, was not without risks. By centering the lawsuit on Tyson's alleged violence, Paul opened himself up to criticisms that he may have contributed to the incident's escalation through his own conduct. Some observers noted that professional fighters are expected to handle a certain level of intensity during sparring sessions, and Paul's case could set a precedent that discourages seasoned boxers from participating in exhibition matches. Concerns also arose that trainers and promoters might adopt a more cautious approach in the future, potentially diminishing the raw spectacle that fans often expect from these non-competitive bouts. Despite the criticism, Paul seemed resolute in his mission. He positioned himself as more than just a competitive YouTuber turned boxer, but rather as a crusader against unchecked aggression in the sport. Whether or not his lawsuit will ultimately succeed in court, Paul's strategy to recast himself as a victim of unrestrained violence in the ring has certainly kept him in the headlines, sparking ongoing discussions within the boxing community. While his efforts may attract support from fans who believe in his cause, Paul's detractors remain unconvinced, viewing his actions as calculated moves to further his own brand. Nevertheless, one thing is certain: the saga between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson shows no signs of quieting down, and it continues to captivate fans and critics alike.